Just 2 weeks ago, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was in Qingdao, China for Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Defense Ministers Summit.
We reiterate the need to hold the perpetrators, organizers, financiers and sponsors of reprehensible acts of terrorism, including cross-border terrorism, accountable and bring them to justice.
This was the Raksha Mantri's first official foreign visit at a multilateral forum after India's Operation Sindoor. 2 weeks later, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is all set to visit Tianjin in China for the conclave of SCO's foreign ministers. This is the External Affairs Minister's first visit to China since the 2020 Galwan clash.
Dr. Jaishankar and Mr. Wang Yi, the Chinese Foreign Minister, have met several times abroad, spoken. The last one was at the G20, and he has been meeting, talking to one another. We have had the meetings on the highest level, but under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, whenever the country holds summits, there are various meetings that are held. And the meetings are held importantly at the level of defense ministers, at the level of national security advisors, and at the level of the foreign ministers. Now, during the foreign ministers' visit or interactions, mainly what are the issues that are going to be discussed, what is going to be the joint statement after the summit, and this time, as you know, China is hosting the summit, and therefore they expect Prime Minister Modi to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, and Dr. Jaishankar is going there, so he is doing two things. One is a bilateral meeting, and the bilateral meeting will be held in Beijing, and then he'll be going for the foreign ministers meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
However, this visit of Dr. Jaishankar comes on the back of India's bold stance at Shanghai Cooperation Organization just 2 weeks ago.
Any acts of terrorism are criminal and unjustifiable regardless of their motivation, whenever, wherever and by whomsoever committed. SCO members must condemn this evil unequivocally.
India's position at the SCO was clear. The SCO must condemn the evil of terrorism unequivocally. But the SCO refused to budge, and India too took a firm stance, refusing to sign the joint declaration, resulting in a major setback for the hosts, China. The reason for the fallout? The SCO's pro-terror language in the document with no mention of cross-border terrorism or condemnation of the dastardly terrorist attack in Pahalgam, and unwarranted mentions of Balochistan instead.
Our defense minister participating in the defense ministers meeting of SCO. This meeting happened over 2 days, that is yesterday and today. The defense ministers meeting has concluded. I understand that they could not adopt a joint statement. I also understand that certain member countries could not reach consensus on certain issues, and hence the document could not be finalized. On our side, India wanted concerns on terrorism reflected in the document, which was not acceptable to one particular country.
Meanwhile, Dr. Jaishankar is no stranger to China. After all, he goes down in the history books as India's longest-serving ambassador to China, with 4.5 years term in Beijing. With Dr. Jaishankar in town, China rides high on hopes of a bilateral meeting.
After 2020, our relationship has virtually been quite confrontational, I would say, even though both sides have tried to resolve it through dialogue and diplomacy. India definitely has preferred that, while giving them a fitting response to the Chinese hegemonistic designs that have happened. Our forces are still continuing to have an eyeball-to-eyeball kind of a situation on the border, but both sides are trying to defuse the crisis. There are many issues, some have been resolved, others are yet to be resolved.
This is a very important meeting since after 2020. These in foreign ministers have not met except on the sidelines of summits and all. So this will be the first time we expect a bilateral also meeting. And in the bilateral meeting, I think the focus is going to be on de-escalation on the border, because one step has been taken where the patrolling has been allowed in certain areas, but not in all areas. And the a reduction in the number of troops on the border has also not come down. So I think de-escalation would be one of the agendas.
It's also the first time the External Affairs Minister is going to be in China since India called out China's active support during Operation Sindoor.
One border, two adversaries. So we saw Pakistan one side, but adversaries were two, and if I would say actually four or three actually. So Pakistan was the front face. We had China providing all possible support, and it's no surprise because if you were to look at statistics, in the last 5 years, 81% of the military hardware that Pakistan is getting is all Chinese, 81% of that. And another thing that China perhaps has seen is that he is able to test his weapons against, say, various other weapon systems that are there. It's like a live lab which is available to. So it's a good. That is what is something we have to be very, very cognizant about.
CD has also mentioned, the Deputy Chief also mentioned in his statement, China has been very actively supporting Pakistan in all military matters. China has given its air defense system HQ-9. A PL-15 missile has been used against India, and the evidence of this was we actually found one which we knocked down in Hisar. Then we had this JF-10 aircrafts also being used, 10C, against India. The satellite system being used against India. So there is enough evidence to say that China was not a passive partner. The crunch word here is it was not a passive partner, it was an active partner. So I think Mr. Jaishankar, he should bring out these factors, because if we have to normalize relations with the country, there has to be trust factor involved. And we can't be seeing China helping Pakistan in such a clandestine manner without keeping India into confidence.
China has again tried to stop some of these supplies of the rare earth metals and all minerals that India needed, and I think that is also one of the areas. I believe that that has been done by China essentially to have some kind of a leverage during negotiations, because Chinese want direct flight to start, which has been discussed at the foreign secretary level. They want visa facilitations, they want investments in India and all that. So I think there are a lot of host of issues that will be discussed.
Also in attendance will be Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, coming face to face against Dr. Jaishankar for the first time since Pakistan's DGMO called India to seek a ceasefire. However, it's not just going to be all about defense. Trade continues to remain a major bone of contention between India and China.
Well, if China feels that it can stop the growth of India, then China is highly mistaken. Our programs like Vocal for Local, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, Stand Up India, Start Up India, and so on. All these programs are aimed at designed to make India self-reliant as far as the production is concerned, because the Prime Minister has already outlined that he is looking for greater share in global economy, and that is possible only when India exports more. So certainly in that case we have a competition with China, and we all know that what China produces quantity, not quality. Whereas on the other hand we are producing quality, and now Indian goods are being accepted across the world. So if China feels that it can stop or it can put some roadblocks into the growth of Indian manufacturing or service sector, then I think China should mend his ways.
While India is emerging as a global alternative to Chinese manufacturing in light of Trump's tariff push, China has spared no effort in throttling India's supply chains. But if trade, border standoff, or China's support to Pakistan isn't enough to make matters uncomfortable, then perhaps the Dalai Lama issue will certainly do the trick.
So in this one now, there are a couple of issues in the bilateral level that have cropped up, that have been there. One was, of course, His Holiness Dalai Lama's birthday recently, which has caused a little bit of a consternation in China, because it is very sensitive and it is about who's going to be the next Dalai Lama. So that definitely the Chinese will sort of protest or say something, but he's our guest and he's been here forever and he'll remain here and he'll be given due respect. That's India's position. We do not allow any anti-China activities from here, but then China has to reciprocate and show the mutual respect. If they are going to behave in a way that they are continuing to ingress in our positions, continuing to claim our territory, create problems in India, then obviously they can't expect quite response from India. We'll have to reciprocate, and that's precisely what I think we are going to do.
Such is the nature of multilateral diplomacy. Forums change, locations change, but the challenge is that of a consistent position. And on that, India has bettered the dragon.
5 साल के बाद हमारी ये फॉर्मल मीटिंग हो रही है। सीमा पर शांति और स्थिरता बनाए रखना हमारी प्राथमिकता रहनी चाहिए। म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट, म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट और म्यूचुअल सेंसिटिविटी हमारे संबंधों का आधार बने रहना चाहिए।
Will the External Affairs Minister's visit to China bring any sign of warmth in the relationship which has been put into a cold storage by the Chinese after Operation Sindoor? Or will it be rinse-repeat of what happened just a few weeks ago? Another walkout from China's joint declaration? The answer to that question is something that we look forward to this week.